is we doing? Oh, this is just firing at me and my radar refused to log him, so... Not great, not terrible. Fair enough. Bro is a human and he is going through stuff like all other humans. Understandable. What is this dude? He's engaging a teammate. So let's find out if he is actually gonna kill the teammate or not. Now my teammate is dying, unfortunately. No way he is that clueless, seems like he is. Kind of just ignored his RWR. Why is he not multipathing? Why was he not multipathing? Like, you have a radar lock on me, the radar is gonna be guiding the missile, not your eyes. There is no need for you to stare at the missile at all. I genuinely don't understand the logic behind these dudes. My missile got shot down. Cool. It's very cool.
We've captured a zone.
Do you think the Hornet is most under-tier plane? I think this one at 12.7 it's adequate. The ones that are under-tier are the ones at 12.3. But at the same time, all the way from 12.3 to maybe 13.3, 13.7, it's way too compressed. So, like the disparity between flight models and avionics and weapons and amount of weapons and types of weapons and many other factors just makes this VR way too compressed. Like if we were talking about early planes, like I don't know, props, Korean War, Vietnam War, whatever you call it, I think compression is not as bad. Because the main difference between planes at lower PRs is of course gonna be the flight models. Top speed, acceleration, high performance, high altitude performance and whatnot. So it's mostly just pure kinematic difference, and at the end of the day, everything is decided by dogfighting and shooting at each other with guns, right? So I think kind of an opinion I've been forming inside my head lately regarding compression in different BRs is that for early jets and for props as a whole, compression usually is not like that bad, because even if of course there are differences between planes at the same BR or at higher BRs or whatever, like of course you can expect a 5.0 plane to be better than a 4.0 one, but at the same time I don't think the difference is like that significant to where you're completely hopeless. You can still kind of like cook if you're good enough at the game, you know how to dogfight. Maybe you can exploit a little bit of kinematic advantages against people. You can play like a coward, for example, so you always have options, right? In the case of high tier and top tier, because there's just so many more different factors that can actually decide an engagement, I think it just makes compression way too fucking bad. So I think one example I could use is the J7E. So it's literally the best flight model all the way up to 12.0. It's completely uncontested. Nothing can beat the J7E in a dogfight whatsoever. But the reason why the plane is under-tiered is because it doesn't have all-aspect missiles, and it doesn't have a radar. It doesn't even have IFF. It doesn't have radar missiles. So you have a plane that is like way too strong in like very few areas, and it's also like very struggling on others, and that's the reason why it's under tiered. I think another example would be like the F-16As that only have A9Ls, like the Nets, F-16A Block 10 overall. Like they are planes that have incredibly busted fly models, and the missiles are like decent. But again, the reason why they are under tiered is because they don't have radar missiles apparently, and that's like one factor in that particular BR that it's a lot more prevalent on some planes, and it's a lot worse on planes like the F-16 Block 10. So I think there's just like at missile combat, modern combat, there's just way too many factors that end up actually affecting the matchups and outcome of any engagement, and the Gaijin does a fucking dogshit ass terrible job at balancing this kind of stuff. So that's why we have so much fucking compression at higher BRs. And also I think there are many planes that were a very bad idea to introduce to the game in the first place. I think for example planes like the J7E are really difficult to balance, because at the same time I guess you can make the argument like, well yeah, it doesn't have IFF, it doesn't have radar missiles, doesn't have all aspect stuff, but it's also so insanely fucking strong on some other areas to where it basically just becomes completely uncontested in the hands of somebody who knows how to exploit those advantages. As for the Hornet, I think this one is adequate at 12.7. Probably a little bit on the strong side, most definitely. But at the same time, whether this plane could be placed at a higher BR or not is basically just determined by the compression we have at top tier or high tiers overall. This guy is kind of just ignoring me. Oh, better kill it quick before he gets shot down by the AAA, or before I get shot down by the AAA. Is my missile gonna catch him? Holy fucking useless missile, dude. I swear he was actually in range. And not only that, but also it was basically going towards the ground. Like I would have expected gravity to help the fucking missile actually track and glide in. Now I have to fucking use a Sparrow. I have two people shooting at me. This This guy definitely sees me, of course. Problem is, I have another dude about the third party me. I'm gonna energy trap this dude. Retain my speed and start using some verticality because I know he will not be able to follow too well. Like that, see? I got 27 SM yesterday, fucking based. My favorite plane in the whole game. It's just so fucking good. Surveillance in B2. I'll see if I can climb a little bit aggressively here. I hate how they butchered Mi-29 flight model and BR-wise. Yeah, I think Mi-29 is another example of a fucking mess that they didn't know how to balance. So because of the ER, it's a higher BR than it should probably be. Fly model is also absolute garbage and it cannot compete in that department whatsoever. And well, it just like the entire plane is overall a whole fucking mess. Nice. Is this a player? Oh. This is a bad guy, apparently. Are you a bad guy? You are. Can you log the fucking dude that is in front of me? I see another missile there. Okay, I have one bad guy in front. This one. And what about this dude? Another bad guy. So we have to. And this guy's gonna team kill because he is actually fucking stupid. Okay, I'm gonna fire a missile at one. I'm gonna keep an eye out on the second one. No, 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 no. You're not going to notch my shit. No, don't do that. Now you. Are you not gonna multipath? It's literally the best map for you to do that, bro. There's somebody else coming there. I'm gotta be careful because there's a convoy somewhere in there. You see this dude here? IFF. It's a bad guy. Convoy is right there. I should be just far enough to where he's not gonna blow me up. This is an A-10. shooting down these dudes. Bunch of clutter in here. Any tips? Any tips for the 27 SM? Oof. I don't know, I would say there's definitely a lot of tips, but I don't really know where to start. Like, I think it's a plane that just kind of requires you to have a good amount of knowledge about almost any and all aspects about the game. But if you're only like stock grinding and you only have ETs, I would recommend you to just play like a rat, just ambush people, play on the deck. Who are you? Are you a bad guy? You look like an F-14. I don't think I'm gonna be able to catch him, so might as well use a missile and kill him. And I'll see if I can go RTB. Does this guy want a dogfight? What makes it your favorite or J11B? 27SM has more utility, more tricks up its sleeve, so to say, because of the missiles it has and the amount of. Skill cap is also higher, so you want to squeeze the full potential with 27SM, you need to be better. J11B is better in the hands of the average player because it's so much easier to use. But like overall, I just find so much more utility on Russian missiles. Yeah, do that. I will not be able to go RTV anymore, but I don't care. Let's dogfight an F-16, shall we? I know he doesn't have Fox 1s, he's only infrareds. So I can dodge the merge safely this way. What is bro doing? I don't have enough fuel for this, bro. Oh, I don't have ammo. Okay, I'll give my kill to this dude. The fly model when it got added with F-16 was amazing. 27R should have been removed. For 27Rs or just 16 or 73, MiG-29 can go down to... You want the MiG-29 to go down to 12.3? I don't think so. Maybe, well, maybe if it had only 27Rs and R60s, sure. Base is 27, should be 12.7. I think that opinion is retarded. You do not fix balance by adding more compression. Base 27 is more than fine what it is right now. The ones that are not fine are the flankers with Fox 3s also being at the same BR. basis to 27 being 12-7, I think that's retarded. Plane is way too strong. Does it make the Chinese premium SU-30 the goat then, since it gets BOS-12s and 73 ZTs? Yeah. 2 less missiles? Yeah, well, two less missiles than 27SM. But also 27SM has better flight model and better engines. Carries more missiles too. And they're also different BRs, so it's not like you can really make a direct comparison. I do, however, believe that the premium SU-30 should definitely be 13.7. ¿Qué fue? Oh, my cat is yelling because he hasn't eaten in like 5 minutes. Better radar? 27 is, well, in range, sure, it has better range, that's it. Well done. Well fucking done. Jack 141 has a really good radar, so I don't think that's justifiable. Holy fucking stupid ass cat. ¿Qué fue? Venga. This Sparrow doors, this dude. Is that a player though? It was. Now here is a Hornet. Wait, what are you doing? I thought it was locking onto me, like, wait, what happened? Oh, maybe he was locking the bombers. There's a bomber formation right there. That's probably what happened. He got tunnel vision a little bit. This dude is, I believe it's an F-16. Go, Sparrow. Kill him, he is not multi-mapping. There's another one behind him too. Where was he? There you are. No, thank you. I don't want to take head-ons. They're unnecessary. Oh, he is a little bit high up. Hold on. He's right there. See if I can get a little bit closer to make the sparrow more scary. Oh, he's turning around. No, he's not. Head on. This F-16 is also not multipathing. You don't have radar missiles. There's no reason for you to be high up. And he's gonna shoot down the missile. No, missile failed. See, if your plane doesn't have radar missiles and your opponent does, you really have to be careful how you approach the dude. Like in his case, he doesn't have any radar missiles. Not a single F-16 in this VR does. And also he is flying in a straight line towards a dude who has radar missiles. At this kind of altitude, in a flat map, like, you cannot really approach me like that. Do they not have a runway there though? I cannot see shit. I don't really know if they have a runway there. Let's find out. Oh, seems like they don't. Hold on. There's this one. And there's that one all the way there. Oh, okay. So that's all the runways. I thought they had one here. They don't. The angry Scarlet meme. The thing is, her ball actually had food on it. It's just that the bottom of the ball was slightly visible, and that's enough for her to just start crying. See, this dude is not multipathing either. He's flying in a straight line without cranking or doing anything. My missile actually ended up proxying because of IOG. See, that's how you approach a fucking dude with radar missile. You just turn your radar off and sneak up to him. Finally, one motherfucker dude that's actually smarter than my team. See how easy it is. I'm curious what you would think about Gaijin given the F-18 air release the 9M and moving to 13.0. You need to keep in mind these planes can carry, I think, 6 or 8 A9Ms. You think it sounds great until you have to fight against them. So, my opinion, they should do it. So I could just spam A9Ms at all these fuckers and just make them even more angry. Because guess what, if every single Hornet gets them, that means the Swiss Hornet gets them. And I have more countermeasures than they do, so you know what that means. Also, this is literally probably one of the best performing planes I have in my entire account. So everyone who says this plane is bad has a fucking skill issue. Massive skill issue. Presumably with the F-18A going to 12.7. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna give 9Ms to these dudes. same reason they probably will not give 9Ms to the F-14B. I think the airframe and the overall kit is just way too limited. So if it ends up going up in VR, it's just gonna struggle. Imagine, for example, kind of like the same situation of the F4F ICE, where the only redeeming factor about the plane is the missiles it has, but everything else is absolute fucking dog shit, and it actually really struggles. So something similar could also be said about the Vegan with AIM-120s. Like, AIM-120s is the only redeeming factor about the plane, everything else is absolute fucking dog shit, and that means the plane is just not enjoyable to fly. So that kind of thing, like I was talking about compression earlier on the video, like 20 minutes ago. So what you need to understand is, if you need to try to balance every single plane like almost like equally in all areas as much as you can, because if you make the plane too strong in one single area and it's dog shit everywhere else, it's not gonna be enjoyable. I think, again, one example is the J7E, which kind of, I guess, won the lottery in that regard, because the plane doesn't struggle if you actually have a brain. But on other examples are, for example, the Vegan with AIM-120s. It's only decent in one regard, and that is the M120s, and it's dog shit everywhere else. It just basically just cannot compete in many areas overall. Same goes for the F4F ICE and a few more planes. I think, for example, the F-16As with M120, the F-16As that only has Fox 2s are probably not super enjoyable either if they had to face too many planes with radar missiles. Oh, there he is. Because that just means that planes that have radar missiles can kind of actually fucking rinse you. And they will have a lot more options than you. And it can get really frustrating. I'm not saying the F-16A is bad at all. I'm just saying that the amount of options is lower, and it can become really annoying to use. I think if I had something like a Gripen A, which has the Sky Flash, which is kind of mid as fuck, and has 9Ms, like, the plane is phenomenal for dogfighting and shit, the avionics are phenomenal, but the fact that you don't have any standoff capability means that you basically just have to fly for a very long time, kind of, in order to find people to shoot at and merge with them and force dogfights and get very close. So it gets kind of annoying because your options are a little bit more limited. Somebody can actually push you with radar missiles, and maybe you get lucky, maybe you cannot react in time, maybe you're in a bad position, you end up eating shit with no way to counter them. But, you know, still. Hello, Ziver. When is the 5th gen fighters coming to War Thunder? I would imagine next year. I don't really think Gaijin is going to introduce them this year because they seem to be focusing a little bit too hard on infantry. And I think that's what they said is going to be their focus this year. And the thing about 5th gens is I think there's still a lot of game mechanics that must be introduced in order to get into that kind of gameplay of 5th gens. There's a lot of shit that we actually need, and I think Gaijin even admitted to it. Like, there's gonna be a bunch of game mechanics that are necessary and required in order to even think about introducing 5th gens to the game. Like ECM, modern infrared missiles, modern Fox 3 missiles like Meteor, R37Ms, R77M, PL-15, many more. So I think what Gaijin's idea is that 5th gens, of course, are gonna be fighting against 4.5 gens, and 4.5 gens are gonna need tools in order to fight against 5th gens, and those tools come in the form of better missiles. Again, like the Meteor or AIM-2 60 if, I don't know, maybe Gadget makes it up, because the missile literally does not exist and it's not even in service either, so... I don't really expect 5th gens anytime soon. And even if they do come with the current map sizes and game modes we have, like, I'm not looking forward to that shit at all. It's actually gonna be so fucking dog shit. This guy is gonna explode to my teammate. There's something there. Where's the other runway? Okay, there you go. That's curb. He should deal with that easily. Okay, so this runway is clear. How about this one? Clear too. Where's everyone then? They're probably taking off from the other runway. They have one all the way there. Northeast. Oh yeah. Some of them started taking off from this side. Which is good for them, they are smart, so they don't get spawn camped. I'm expecting 5th gens in December. I don't really know. They always try to push the envelope in the December update. Yeah, I know that. That's fair. But even if 5th gens were to come in December, I don't think the game would be ready for 5th gens by that time. Like, we literally don't even have game modes for that. We don't have map sizes for that. We don't have the game mechanics for that. Now, just to use an example, enduring confrontation in Sim. So this game mode, this map I'm playing right now, like, this is a 128 square kilometer map. So 128 this way, 128 kilometers this way, and from one corner to the opposite is 180 something kilometers, 182 I think. Even the biggest maps in top tier kind of feel small because planes aren't so fucking fast, and the engagement ranges are also, like, overall quite big, especially because missiles have better kinematics and they're mounted to very dangerous planes that can go really fast, really high, whatnot. I think even with the biggest maps we currently have, like, top tier matches feel like really packed. Oh. I have a teammate there. And a 14. They're on attack. Okay. Give me a second, I'm gonna catch up with chat in just a moment. This is my teammate. No! My teammate, no! There's a Hornet. I'm gonna focus the Hornet first because I think this one can actually see me. Oh, it's defending. Or going to the deck, I guess. F-14 is right there. This guy is dead. F-14 is this one. Is he running away? Yes. Let's see, maybe this catches him. I don't know. Fingers crossed. Oh, It might actually. The airfield is right there and he is slowing down for landing approach. No, he multi-pav that. It's fine. He's multi-paving. He's a coward. Exploiting the game mechanics for an unfair advantage. Yeah, I'll disengage. I'll go for the capture point. Because these guys are getting pressured very hard. And I'm gonna show a little bit of good sportsmanship by not spawn camping them so they don't come crying in the fucking game chat or I get fan mail. Oh, hello Sticks. The maps would be so trash for 5th gen, so or rather everyone trying to fight them. Yeah, I genuinely don't think the game is ready whatsoever right now, and I don't think it's, of course, it's not gonna be ready by the end of the year. I don't trust Gaijin at all. How should I fly this 25k in the same as I keep getting killed by SPA in ground battles? That one is tricky. Because I would also struggle with that one. But something I would do is... Oh, this guy is high up. Something I would do is... You see this little feature with the SPI. You can place the SPI accurately on the minimap. What I would do is I would place the SPI as accurately as you can on the SPAs of the ground skirmishes and use your laser guided KH-25s to hopefully kill them, because the placing the SPI on the minimap like that actually allows you to point your targeting pod exactly there very accurately. So you can easily find where the SPA is. So you fire your radar missile, I mean your KH-25, KH-29, whatever, because they're laser guided. You kill one of them, hopefully, and then you immediately have to disengage and try again, because otherwise you will be a little bit too close and they might actually get you there. So that's what I would do. That would kind of be my thought process on it. And then, like, every single ground skirmish has 5 SPA, but you only have 4. I think it's only 4, right? Or 6. I don't remember. I think the S25K might have 6. So you get 2. I think you get 2 of the big ones, 2 of the small ones. So you can probably use, like, all of them to destroy the SPA. If not, then you should probably destroy all 4 and then kind of take a gamble and destroy the last one before it actually kills you. Like, to be honest, I've also taken gambles when I played the SU-25 myself. Sometimes you just have to cross your fingers they actually don't fucking hit you. Sometimes they do and you just die, and that's unfortunate. That's how it is, unfortunately. It is what it is. Arvin, hello, welcome to the Dogshit Sim channel on the game mode that nobody gives a fuck about. Welcome. I'll try to go RTV, might as well. No reasons for me to, like, get cocky here. I don't want to starve my team. Alright, while I go RTV, let me catch up with chat. They said the absolute earliest would be the latter half of 2026. Really? I am genuinely not looking forward to that shit, if that's the case. I don't think the game is ready. I don't think the game is gonna be ready whatsoever. They're gonna have the shit out of it and it'll be ass. Yeah. Gaijin basically just relies on hyping up half-baked features and then abandoning them when they cannot bother to fix them anymore. Many such cases. Sim is probably the biggest example. They kind of worked on it for a decent bit and then just fucking forgot about it, and they don't give a fuck about it anymore. Unless Gaijin doesn't really work to the engine so we can get better maps, that ain't happening. Yeah, I keep hearing that there's a technical limitation on why we don't have bigger maps, but for the longest time, actually Gaijin has made a really good job of adapting their game engine to keep expanding new mechanics, adding new mechanics that used to be technical limitations back in the day, but easily become not so limited anymore. I think they can definitely cook something up. Might take some effort, might take some time, whatever, but yeah. Maybe. At the same time, I don't really think they give a fuck about adding bigger maps, because you remember the kind of interview that the fucking game director of Gaijin did a few weeks or months back? Like, he literally thinks the player base is too fucking stupid for more complex game modes or objectives, more like capturing a fucking flag. Dude actually thinks the player base is genuinely fucking retarded. And I think the way he thinks we are retarded, he is very wrong. Because the player base actually is really, really fucking good at playing the damn video game, unlike the developers themselves. So, M7P ignoring notching is a clear example of War of the Warrior. There's a reason why I point my radar or point my nose towards those guys at all times. Is if I fire an M7P at one dude and he starts defending immediately, then of course I can just afford to look at him and just head on. And the reason why I do this is because I stay in ACM to make sure I immediately require them if they notch my shit. So a lot of times when they notch, they drop chaff, of course. The radar gets logged onto the chaff. So the reason why I stare at those dudes who are defending and I fly like basically head on towards them is because if they notch, I can just break the lock and use ACM to reacquire them almost immediately. So they have an even harder time notching. At the same time, the N7P has data link. So the data link actually forces the seeker to be pointed towards the correct direction where the target is. Even if the seeker cannot track the target yet, at least it allows the missile to get closer and closer and closer until it can actually track it. Like, AIM-7P is generally really, really fucking good. Swiss Hornet. Then we're losing. Kind of. When I have to start doing some objectives instead of focusing on kills. Who would have thought? I'll go to the capture point. It's very close at least. You can take 2 29Ls and 4 25s. Oh, fair enough. Okay, that's good, yeah. So you should have enough missiles to hopefully kill all 5 SPAs. And then you can strafe some of the remaining units with your guns. Like, actually, if you take ground belts on these 25, you should be popping a bunch of ground units very easily. The projectiles don't have like a lot of penetration, but they are APHE, they deal a fuck ton of damage. I would say it's probably one of the best guns in the whole game. I would say it's even better than the gun on the A10, because the gun on the A10, it's only armor piercing. Depleted uranium projectiles, whatever the fuck, they have a penetrator, but they don't have any explosive filler. And the gun is also inaccurate as fuck, so I actually think the gun on the A10 is kinda mid. The gun on the S25 is better. It's just more accurate. and projectiles just hit so much harder. But yeah, overall, S25 is not easy to fly at all, especially the early ones. SU-39 and SU-25D, of course, far better because you have pickers, you have very good optics. You have 73s, of course, you have better heads-up display. But the early ones, you kind of have to cheese it. For example, you see this convoy here? So I can place the SPI very accurately on the AAA. And then once I acquire visual, I know which little tank to shoot at and kill it. So that's what you have to do for ground battles. You basically just have to do the same thing. That's exactly what I would do. Just use the SPI, place it as accurately as you can on the very center of the SPA, any of them, and just see if you can kill it with a laser guided missile. I know the optics is not very good, so you're probably gonna have to squint really hard. But yeah, that's basically like the only reliable way I would approach those bastards. What do I have cheat engine for? I actually was learning how to use it to hack on some other video games. So I was messing around with, I think it was Monster Hunter World, like a month ago. So I ended up looking for cheat tables on cheat engine on the internet, and like, I'm actually curious how they are actually made, like the process of using cheat engine and creating your own cheats and creating cheat tables and all that stuff. Like, I graduated in computer science, like I should be able to learn this shit kind of quickly, so I was actually curious on how it would work. And I started practicing with it, learning how to use it. I think it's really interesting, hacking into programs and creating cheats. Oh, I was also using it on Stalker. Where is it? Where's Stalker? Oh, Stalker should be around here. Where's Stalker? Here. Was also trying to learn how to make cheat tables on Stalker too. Am I getting shot at by a teammate? Better not be. Teammate? This one should also be a teammate. Okay, so these two guys are fighting at each other. Teammate, kill him! Oh, uh-oh. A little bit too many coming. Okay, I have visual on both of them. See if I can Sparrow this dude. It missed. Okay. So there should be an F-14. There he is. Problem is, I merged with a Hornet. I don't know where he is now. Is it that one? My missile didn't reach the dude. I don't know what happened to that Hornet. I might explode soon. I don't know. Oh. Hello. There you are. Bro didn't sweep the wings back. I mean, forward, whatever. Now there's a bad guy here in front. problem here is I'm a little bit too heavy on fuel, so I gotta be careful on how hard I pull and for how long. This dude, however, is a little bit clueless. Is that an F5? No, it's not. I'm gonna keep getting closer and closer and closer, and I get a deflection shot here. I can probably make him panic by taking these kind of shots. He's going up. So. I think you gotta be really careful if you decide to pull really hard on your way up, because Hornet is not particularly good on verticals. The plane is very draggy, and if you go up, you're gonna have to fight against gravity. Gravity is gonna slow you down. If you slow down, it's gonna make your plane pull more AOA. Pulling too much AOA makes you more draggy, and it's basically a snowball effect that just slows you the fuck down. So like the very moment he decided to go up, I just went all in because I knew for a fact he was gonna get slow. That's kind of my little bit of decision making on that little dogfight. I was on his X anyway, but you know, if he kept rate fighting at high speed horizontally, it would have taken me a little bit longer to actually catch up and get a good angle for a shot. There's an F-15 on the deck somewhat right there. Well, he notched one. Can he do it twice though? Nope. See if I can catch up with Chad. Should have bought 12.7 F-18 instead of F2. Well, the F2 is also really good and Japan is really good, but you know. I do, however, find this plane more enjoyable. The F2 is genuinely fucking boring to use. I am already bored. I want to get done with that stock grind so much. Oh, who's this? Somebody's shooting at him. It's a bad guy. He does not see me, apparently. Okay, there's a Hornet somewhere close. Where? This dude? Seems like. It is. I'm gonna lock him on radar, see if maybe he turns around. He is turning around indeed. Okay. I'll see if I can kill him with guns. That way I can use my missile for later. That's not gonna pull in time. And he dies around here. Almost. Okay, I'm far away from the convoy, so I should be fine. Bro, you need, in a dogfight, you need to kind of turn, you know? Yeah, okay. Okay, buddy. You should at least make an attempt to, you know, turn. Do you know your plane has control surfaces you can use for maneuvering? Oh, he got throttle. Look at the smoke. Someone give this man a round of applause. He tried to reverse a Hornet. Oh, look at that. He is on top. He is above me. He lost sight of me. So this means I get to do this. Good thing I saved my missile for later. Boom. And IRTV. Oh, fuel. Careful with the fuel. I'm gonna ask for cover. Such a scary missile. I'm terrified of Phoenixes. Yeah, all you have to do against the Phoenix is literally go cold, close to the ground, drop chaff once, and the missile won't be able to see you. The thing is, missiles like the Sparrow and the Phoenix have a head-on only seeker. Literally, the pulse Doppler filter can only track targets in the head-on if they are close to the deck. If the target is at high altitude, where ground clutter is basically not present, they can track any aspect or all aspect just fine. But if you're on the deck, the Sparrow and the Phoenix can only see you head-on. And this goes for most Fox 1s at this VR too. So to give you an example, let's say I am an F4 with AIM-7Fs. So the AIM-7Fs doesn't have data link, right? So let's say right now I'm flying an F4. I have a head-on only radar, and the Sparrow is also head-on only. So let's say I fire a missile towards one dude there on the deck. As long as he is coming head-on towards me, both my radar and my Sparrow will track just fine. But the very moment he goes cold and he is close to the ground, I will lose the radar lock, and I will also lose tracking on my Sparrow. The Sparrow will not be able to see the target whatsoever, unless the missile is like within 2 kilometers of the target. The same can be said about Phoenixes. The F-14 has a pulse Doppler radar, but that pulse Doppler only works in a head-on. So if you have a target that is coming head-on towards you, the F-14 will detect it and track it and engage it just fine. But the very moment the target goes cold, the head-on pulse Doppler radar cannot detect it anymore. And the same goes for the Sparrows that are mounted on the F-14. The same goes for the Phoenixes that are mounted on the F-14. Every single radar system on the F-14 is head-on only. So quite literally, the easiest way to counter an F-14 is by going cold. As long as you're close to the ground, of course. Because if you're a little bit higher up, the radar of the F-14 is less affected by ground clutter, and it will actually be able to track you even if you go cold, right? That's the thing. Oh, see you around, Blanche Boy. "35 kills, correct." Bro.
Attack the depoint.
Oh, Shimira is helping with gas. That's fucking based.
Move after me. Returning to the base.
Do Phoenix's Fakur have the same type of radar as F-14, meaning head-on only? Oh, yeah, I just explained that. Okay. Were you practicing dynamic range address or trying to find static addresses? Dynamic range. So like what I wanted to do is just create a cheat table that would basically just work off the bat whenever I boot up the game or whenever I boot up cheat engine. For example, I think on Monster Hunter, I ended up making a cheat table for modifying the money, modifying the amount of items that you have of one particular item. For items, I couldn't really figure it out yet. But yeah, that's kind of the thing I was messing with on Cheat Engine. I had never used it before except for, you know, scanning a particular value, waiting for it to change, then re-scanning it again and see the difference. That's the easiest way you can find stuff. But I wanted to create a cheat table that would basically just work from the get-go without me doing that. Because I know people do it. I know like some experienced people who know how to do that shit on Cheat Engine, and overall like, I guess, cheaters or hackers, whatever. Like, they definitely do that. So I was getting like really curious, like, hey, actually, I should be more than capable of understanding what's going on, and I'll be able to do some of these things myself. Did you know that the 25T should have a movable gun? USH-32 in that plane was mounted on a gimbal that allowed it to move up and down so you could shoot enemies on the ground while leveled. I think there are also some gun pods, like the 23mm gun pods are also mounted on a swivel. But Gaijin tried to implement that on the SU-24 and they barely made it work, and they kind of just scrapped the fucking idea. So, meh. Oh! But on this 25T, no, I didn't know that. If the Iron Dome meta still exists when the 5th gens are released, they have very limited missile count unless you want to give up stealth with wing pylons. I would imagine Iron Dome meta is going to be rebalanced soon because it's finally becoming kind of a plague in ARB, and the whole issue is gaining a lot more visibility. And overall, you know, I find it a little bit funny and satisfying because that's exactly what I predicted like at the beginning of the year, when Iron Dome starts showing up more abruptly than ever before, with the introduction of ASA radars for every single nation and so many missiles for each plane. Iron Dome basically just started becoming more prevalent at the beginning of this year. So my prediction was that when I first experienced that mechanic, when I was a victim of that mechanic, so to say, I think I just immediately noticed that the mechanic is so invasive and can be so invasive that people will very quickly start noticing that the only way to counter these kind of players is to also reciprocate with Iron Doming them. Like, it's just really fucking oppressive because it overall just negates any kind of skill or advantage that you might have. For example, you could be flying an Eurofighter going Mach 2 in orbit, and you could fire your missile from absolute perfect parameters at the dude. And if he decides to Iron Dome and shoot down your missile, then all of that kinematic advantage that you have just goes to the garbage, right? It just gets completely negated. So all of those minutes you spent accelerating and all that fuel you wasted and all that time gets immediately negated by a dude that is flying in a straight line towards you. So that's what I mean by the feature being too invasive, is that it's like people started noticing that the only way to counter these motherfuckers is by basically just doing the same. Or maybe just vertical notch and counter-firing from really close ranges. It's kind of the only way to deal with them effectively if you don't want to reciprocate. So because the feature is so invasive, I guess more and more people started noticing like, hey, well, This is actually like really fucking hilarious and can be exploited for a very decent advantage. So this basically means that because the feature is so fucking invasive, more and more and more and more people will start doing it over time. And I was correct. It is indeed happening to an even worse degree now. It's becoming worse and worse over time. The more people Iron Dome, the more people will start Iron Doming. Because of how oppressive the mechanic is. So I think maybe the mechanic is finally getting more and more attention. And more people are doing it. And that means that it's a lot more likely that Gaijin has already paid attention to it. And hopefully they will do something about it. Because it's already started affecting tournaments. So I do have a decent amount of faith that it will get reworked, hopefully. Oh, dodged. I'm a little bit too close for this. Fucking... Did he just fucking flat spin out of control? What did brother just do? Sparrow, kill him. Kill this dude. Kill this dude. Yes. Whoa. Alright. Lady Nocturne has been saved. It's like a cancer. Once one person does it in a match, then everyone starts doing it. Yeah, that's kind of what I predicted, or what I mean by it being so invasive. Like, it just gives you so much of an advantage compared to the traditional kind of gameplay that we had, where if you try to play normally and you try to play the game the way you learn all this time, to defend, notch, counterattack, whatever, respect the no escape zones and respect the altitudes and separation kinematics. You play the game by the rules, and you face somebody who Iron Domes you, all of that gets negated and you basically just eat shit. It's a massive disadvantage for you. You would have to reciprocate. Okay, who is this dude? I remember getting a ping from on top above me. I want to see who this is. This is a bad guy. And I have someone on my ass shooting at me. Surprised that fucking tracked so well. Okay, I'm gonna notch this dude. Broke his radar lock, his missile is trashed. Barely see him. Oh, there he is. Hello. Okay, I have 10 minutes of fuel and 3 missiles, so I can still fight it. I can still do my thing. I would imagine this dude is high up. Oh, yeah, there he is. Iran is not on the enemy team, so this means there are no Iranian F-14s on the enemy team. Phoenix and Sparrow are trashed. So now I'm gonna do the thing. Can I log the fucking plane, please? Oh, F-16 behind me. Hopefully this hits so I can engage the F-16. Yeah, there you go. Oh, the F-16 is right there. Wait, F-16 with Fox 1s? What is that thing? EJK or something? There shouldn't be any F-16s at this VR with Sparrows. It is an EJK indeed. Nice. Oh, somebody capturing. I'll go to the A point and then I'll transition towards RTV after that. I see him. There he is. Hold on. I might want to be careful with this dude. There's a teammate already close to him, so I would imagine my teammate is gonna get him just fine. This is the dude I detected earlier on my radar. Looks very slow. What is that? Looks very fat. Might be an A10. These guys are dogfighting. Oh, my teammate just fucking J'd out. That's... wow. Where's the bad guy? Is it this one? You are a bad guy. Lucky motherfucker. Yeah. He tried shooting down my missile. And of course mine didn't hit. Arc Royal, no, I play with mouse and keyboard. I got Iron Dome by 2 native shots in an Afghan match you were in when I stuck around at the J10C. The amount of extra work it takes to fight those kind of players is obnoxious. Yeah, the thing is, even if you are the best player in Sim, say for example you're somebody really experienced like Sergey, Mustang and whatnot, you literally have to approach Iron Domers like they are the most dangerous players on the enemy team, even if these motherfuckers literally just installed the game 2 hours ago. That's how fucking bullshit and invasive it is overall. This update has made me understand the massive rivalry between red and blue players. That and why I simply hates the Americans. I don't really hate the Americans necessarily. Like, it's kind of like a, I guess like an internet persona of mine, because I find it funny. However, I do generally fucking hate US mains, or just vocal nation mains that never stop coping about their shit being bad. And it just happens that the ones that are the loudest are US mains. So of course I fucking hate them. I'm doing the game out a favor by giving these guys a fucking challenge. You wanna visualize where the skill cap is? You wanna see how much work there is to do if you wanna actually get good at the game instead of having your favorite plane babysit your ass? Then yeah, that's what I'm doing. think I would say it also has to do with some more factors, like overall I think there's way too much elitism when it comes to the fan base of Western hardware. Many different video games, but especially War Thunder, because this is a military combat video game with a lot of fans and people who just love one particular type of vehicle or hardware or whatever. I think there's an F-16 to my right somewhere. Holy fuck, oh, that's an EJK. He's merging with someone, he exploded, nice. I remember getting a different... I don't know, maybe I was rolling my plane, but I remember getting an F-16 ping from this direction. Or maybe I was like rolling my plane and it was actually the EJK just showing up in a different direction, or the RWR, because I was like rolling around with my plane. Whatever. And these motherfuckers just keep summoning. These motherfuckers are a plague, dude. So I was saying, I feel like there's just way too much elitism when it comes to fans of Western hardware and fans of like military combat, both in media, movies, video games, and whatnot. So in the case of people who are way too fanatic of specifically US hardware, is they always feel like they deserve to be absolutely uncontested and invincible, like they are portrayed in Hollywood or by whatever their deeds is throughout history and wars, when they just fight third world countries that are basically told to not retaliate because of more harsh consequences, or just fucking planes flown by conscripts and shit, so on, so on, so on. Like, I think a lot of these people actually truly believe that their stuff deserves to be completely uncontested, and they deserve to win just by virtue of having quote-unquote the best thing in the world. And that's something that actually has been really prevalent in War Thunder. I don't really know about the last couple of years, but definitely like a few years back, it's been really noticeable. So I think, for example, the whole thing about Russian bias, just to give you an example, I don't really think Russian bias is real. It might be in a slight degree. There are some arguments that are like decently valid to maybe pinpoint the fact that there might be some favoritism towards Russia in this game. At the same time, there's also like a decent amount of counter arguments to just disprove that. And I think what in reality happens is that Gaijin is just way too fucking incompetent at balancing shit. And this incompetence just leads people to believe that, hey, there's bias towards one particular nation that I don't like because my country and my government and Hollywood told me that Russia is bad and they deserve to be dog shit in every single regard because they lost the Cold War. And among many other silly things, I think these people just really just start complaining about everything when something doesn't go their way. And that's why these motherfuckers literally piss me off, because for the longest time they have had quite literally the best hardware in the game for years in a row. They probably still do, like on some BRs like this. Like, look at this, right? I'm flying an American plane. It's literally almost the same as the one they have, right? The only difference is this one has slightly better engines and more countermeasures. And I think like it's definitely better for EC, sure. Countermeasures definitely help. The better engine power, I don't think it makes that much of a difference, to be honest. Definitely helps, but like the difference in the engine power between this one and the American Hornet is not really that significant. I think it can easily be compensated by one dude having like one less minute of fuel than the other dude. That's kind of it, right? So I want you to pay attention at the kind of plane I'm flying. It's American plane. It's basically the exact same they already have. And you can go to the forums, you can see how many people complain about Hornets being bad, being dog shit or whatever. When in reality, I think this is gotta be one of the most busted and absolutely complete and best well-rounded planes I've ever played. And one of the reasons why I love this plane so much, despite the fact that it looks like an aerodynamic abortion, is that it's actually really fucking funny using the exact same plane they have and having such a massive disparity in performance. Skill matters. That's kind of like the implicit kind of thought process I have behind this plane and why I like it so much. Like, skill matters. Just look at me using this plane, or even look at Sergey, Mustang, and some of the other dudes using the Hornet. All of these dudes are fucking cracked at the game. And whatever skill they have right now, they have actually earned it. So these Jews are taking the same vehicles that the Americans have, and the disparity in performance is absolutely fucking massive. So we're basically just indirectly proving that American bullshit is actually really fucking strong. It's just the players that actually suck. And that's why I make fun of them every single time, because for the most part they just keep complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. Because this kind of elitism that I mentioned, they really expect their stuff to be the absolute best in the world and can be completely uncontested. And they think they deserve to win because their hardware is apparently supposed to be better. And because it's not automatically better and they don't automatically win every single engagement with no effort, it means Russian bias, right? So, you know what? Fuck them. Regardless if I'm being immature or not, like, I don't give a fuck. I find it funny. I find it really funny. Wow, look, I have 50 kills. Let's go. What the fuck is that? It doesn't look like that dude is moving. What? I think he fucking landed on the outside of the runway for some reason. American main is a mindset, not just playing US planes. Exactly, it's a fucking mindset. Like, overall, I just fucking hate sore losers overall. Not necessarily just US mains in particular. It just happens that US mains are the most abundant motherfuckers in the whole game. Like, US is literally the most popular nation in the whole game, next to Russia, and I think the margins are quite different, like quite substantial. Like, US mains are more abundant, and overall, again, like, one of the reasons why I make so much fun of them is because of this kind of elitism, that they believe their stuff is meant to be better and they deserve to, like, automatically win every single time. So it's like I really like poking the wound and pouring salt and lemon on it because I find it funny. But regardless of what nation somebody plays, if they start coping because they actually have a skill issue, then of course I'm gonna be making fun of them. Well, there you go. 50 kills. Oh, true. Oh, by the way, I got the Ace Eurofighter already. I do not plan to play top tier anytime soon, but I have it now. I'll probably play ARB to stock grind this. Right now, believe it or not, I think ARB is a lot more fun than top tier sim, because Iron Dome in ARB is less prevalent. I think the game mode is just way too chaotic to be able to afford shooting your missiles in a stupid way like Iron Dome. So I'll play ARB, I'll play the thingy and start spading it. I also need to play the American garbage. I wanna spade the Super Hornet, because this is the only top tier American plane that I actually look forward to using whenever Iron Dome is gone. Golden Eagle is garbage, it's not worth my time at all. Absolute dog shit. So I'm gonna be playing ARB to spade this. Also spade a Eurofighter with Aza. What else? Japan? Now Japan, I'll probably just spade all of these playing in Sim, I don't care. China, I have everything. France, I have everything. Italy, I don't have anything for Italy. Sweden is boring and pointless. And Israel... no comment, I won't elaborate. Made me learn when I was still brand new, still rude by the way. I know I'm rude. I know I am. However, I think a lot of people have actually forced me to be blunt with them. So... Too many USA #1 fandoms, real. Also, I'm kind of trying to stop being as rude as I usually am, because I found out that, hey, this actually fucking kind of cringe. Like, I'm just basically talking shit and criticizing people who basically just installed the game like a few weeks ago, and they're basically just zombing in a game mode that is overall like really difficult to learn, right? So I found out, you know what, maybe I'm being too harsh with people, and like, sure, yeah, I always was. But at the same time, I think I generally do it just for the sake of comedy and spite, because that's what my channel is all about. Like, I just try to be toxic in a reactive way, not proactive. So, somebody opens their mouth, then I'm gonna shove it. Simple as that. I try to not be like proactively toxic, because that's cringe and immature. However, if somebody initiates, you better know that I'm gonna take advantage of that and, you know, follow their lead, kind of thing. Someone said Russia just makes vehicles that work in a video game format, and I think that's quite accurate. I don't think that's the case, because there's a lot more to that. I think just the way Gaijin makes things, and given all the current mechanics we have in the game and whatever, like, I think it's just a matter of coincidence. For example, one kind of, I guess, coincidence is the fact that the Russians just happen to make one of the strongest radars in the entire planet be able to look behind the plane. And it just happens that in a fucking video game like War Thunder, which is like semi-arcade-ish, realistic, whatever, this thing is really fucking busted. So, right now, let's imagine just today they released the F-22. Today we received the F-22. With the current mechanics and state of the game we currently have and shit, I think it'll be fucking DOA, because even if it has the best radar in the entire game, well, it can only look left and right 60 degrees. So you cannot look over the shoulder with the F-22. I don't even know if Gaijin is gonna give it HMD, because the HMD is a very recent upgrade to the F-22, which happened in like the early 2020s or something. So, well, it just happened that coincidentally, a fucking radar like this that can actually look over the shoulder, and it's also the Eye of Sauron, happens to be really fucking busted in a video game. I guess the Russians actually thought about War Thunder back in the day. My only problem with the Hornet is that it has too much drag. Well, you just have to be a little bit patient and don't sit on the afterburner like a dummy for too long. Bros KD with this match shows the levels to this. Yeah, way too much sweat, dude. One game I had a Hornet complain that I had the range advantage when using the Squadron Belgian F-16 that was stuck. That's stupid. 16x game? Nah, I don't think I'll get that lucky. I actually got lucky in that cyanide because players usually don't last that long. At the same time, it was a cyanide match that was not laggy, which is surprising. Hello, Octo Monaco. Hello. Where am I from? I'm from Costa Rica. Yeah, I'm trying to cut down a little bit on being such a douchebag. But sometimes it's just funny. Sometimes I do it because the situation allows it, and I find it like kind of comedic, to be honest. Like I try to not be rude. I mostly do it just for the sake of comedy and being an asshole because funny, this YouTuber is really good at the game and he is kind of toxic. It's actually hilarious, you know. So it's mostly for the internet persona. But in reality, I guess maybe I've been too much of an asshole. I'm trying to, at least I'm self-aware. I'm like, you know what, this is probably really fucking cringe. I should like slow down a little bit. On the other hand, a lot of the people who have actually shown interest in learning, I have actually helped them a lot. And that's what my server is for. Like, I created the server for the focus of teaching people how to duel and teach people how to play EC, but the bigger focus has been dueling ever since I made it, and well, I have learned a lot of people actually get better at the game. I'm actually glad my content and my guides have actually helped a bunch of people. By the way, on my Discord server, there's a channel with a bunch of tips for dueling, which it's still work in progress. I'm working on it. But a lot of the lessons that I have and recordings of me dueling other people and giving feedback are only available on Discord. And all of these videos are unlisted. So if you guys want to see like different, I guess, like tutorials of dueling and me dueling other people and giving them feedback, different sessions, you're gonna have to join my Discord and actually look at all the recordings I have, because all of these videos are unlisted, only available for the Discord. So yeah, like the people who generally want to learn, I've helped them out quite a lot. Like I think a lot of people had actually said that, well, they have learned a lot from my content, and that's kind of the reason why I started my channel on YouTube and I started uploading content. So one of the main reasons why I started just uploading kind of like lazy format videos. I say kind of lazy because I don't really do a lot of editing. I'm too lazy for that. But one of the reasons why I started my channel kind of back in the day is that during 2024 I started doing really well in the flanker, which was really fucking dog shit. And so I just started uploading my gameplays so that some of my friends could actually see how I played the plane and they could learn from kind of my tactics and decision making and shit. So like overall, the reason why my channel, I would say, is so heavily focused on gameplay and nothing else is to basically showcase like the maximum performance of one particular plane or one particular matchup. Like this stream I just had, like if you guys were sticking around for long enough, like you can see the absolute max performance you can get out of the Hornet. And you can see how I play it. You can see the kind of different things I do with decision making and shit. And if you guys have questions, of course you can just ask and I'll explain, or at least try to explain what I do, why I do it, and how. Oh, ye sticks, see you around. GG and thanks for the cap. Was a very cathartic cast experience. Oh, you were on the Mirage thing, this one. Yeah. Doing cast is generally fun. I mean it. Like, look at this, right? Look at the amount of ground kills I have on different planes. SC-25, A-10, A-10 late, MiG-27K, SC-25, SC-34, F-16 even. I have thousands of ground kills. I used to do a fuck ton of cast back in the day, before they introduced the GBU-39 and they kind of just ruined everything. Like, I think for a very long time, I used to have more ground kills than player kills. For a very long time, actually. You can see here, air targets destroyed against ground targets destroyed. Ground targets destroyed used to be a far bigger number in my account for quite a while. Doing casts is generally really fun. And unironically, I'm gonna be really honest on this. Doing casts with this kind of planes is one of the reasons why I have such goated aim. Because, for example, doing strafe runs with the frog foot requires a lot of accuracy on actually flying the plane itself. So I ended up learning how to aim thanks to doing so much fucking casts like this. It just requires such precise inputs, and one of the reasons why I have such good aim is because I used to do this shit all fucking time. Here it's a fucking pain in the ass to actually see the targets, but planes like a MiG-27K, I think generally this is kind of the plane that got me into War Thunder. See how satisfying that kind of shit is? So this kind of strafe runs, just using guns to strafe at targets, is probably one of the things that helped me the most to develop very fine adjustments and fine, I guess, control of aiming. Especially the frog foot. The frog foot is overall like really complicated to fly. You can go to desert, minimum fuel. So you want to play frog foot, you want to set the trim to -9%, and you want to make sure to never exceed 900 kph, because otherwise the plane is going to start pitching up too aggressively. See, like, doing this shit is really fun. It used to be a lot more fun before the GBU-39 fucking ruined it. I find this really damn enjoyable. Blowing shit up on the ground is really enjoyable. Especially if you have to do it like the traditional way. And by traditional, I mean not using GBU-39s, because it's literally just fucking point and click and it's lazy as fuck and boring. What's this? What's this? Oh, butters. I'll actually go work out after this. Butters is playing the game. That's fucking rare, dude. That's genuinely fucking rare. Does the room list bug out for anyone else? I think that's a bug that people usually have on console. I think if you try to create a lobby, it bugs out or something. Oh, what the fuck? I guess it does bug itself. Look at what the fuck just happened to the matchups? What? Yeah, I guess trying to create a session just fucking makes the game weird. Yeah, look, the fucking flag composition just got all messed up. And I think the only option is to restart the game to fix that. Sim was the M2K. Oh, okay. Never mind. I try ass all the time with Horde as I suck ass. Have you maybe tried using non-linearity for your inputs axis? Because increasing your non-linearity might make it a lot more easily more smooth for you to make minor adjustments. if you play with any kind of analog input, like a Horde, Xbox controller, and whatever, you really need to use nonlinearity to some degree. The default is 1, and well, you can kind of increase it to smoothen your input when you like push the stick just a tiny bit. So this is really helpful for minor adjustments. It's gonna make everything more smooth. This is not the same as sensitivities, by the way. So if you play with Xbox controller or HOTAS or any kind of input that is analog, you definitely need to have a look at nonlinearity and adjust it a little bit. That might make it a lot easier for you for flying the plane and doing very minor adjustments like aiming. Unless you're talking about like moving the targeting pod with a little joystick that your thing has. But also, you could use nonlinearity for the targeting pod control. Let me see if I can showcase it a little bit here. Okay, here's the thing. I have an Xbox controller. I'm gonna turn it on. So I play the game with mouse and keyboard, of course, but I have an Xbox controller. And oh, here you go. Here, this is me using the Xbox controller, right? So I want to see if I can control the targeting pod with it. No. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go to controls and gunner aiming control. I guess it's this one, maybe. I'm gonna use this. So I just mapped this to the controller. Let's see if... Oh, it does. Yeah, okay. It controls the targeting pod. Okay. Gunner. Vertical axis, I'm gonna invert it. So I believe you have a HOTAS, you have like a little thumbstick that you can use for moving the targeting pod around, right? So I think for me even it's like a little bit tricky to control this. So let me actually point the thing towards the ground so you guys can actually see a little bit more clearly, because the water is ugh. So right now with my Xbox controller, this is way too snappy, right? So this is gonna be really difficult for me to point my thingy anywhere. However, if I go to controls and I go to the axis I just mapped, I'm going to increase nonlinearity to, let's say, 3. Nonlinearity 3. I'm also going to reduce the multiplier a little bit. So this is gonna slow things down a lot. Multiplier to 0.8. Then now this is a lot smoother and a lot easier to work with. So not only is it slower, but also the minor adjustments are a lot smaller and easier to manage. So that's something you can experiment with. It's a little bit tricky still. It's not gonna be as intuitive or accurate as a mouse, but I think adjusting your nonlinearity is gonna help a lot. So something I could even do to make this even more smooth is I'm going to increase nonlinearity all the way to 4. And I'm going to decrease the multiplier to 0.7. Now this is gonna make the sensitivity probably way too low, and it's gonna be annoying. But if I use the minimap and I use the SPI function to put the thing where I need to, then having super low sensitivity might not be an issue anymore. So in this case I use the minimap to place the SPI on a bunch of tanks there. And now I'm gonna use my controller to move the camera around. And you can see this is a lot more manageable. It's slow, but at least I can pick up stuff more easily and it's not as snappy. So here I'm gonna shoot at this dude. Fuck that dude. And fuck that dude. And now I'm gonna put the thing on this tank. Why the fuck is this thing so weird? What is wrong with you? Okay, I think the sensitivity might be a little bit too low for a moving vehicle, but you kind of get the idea. Non-linearity for target controls using Horde is really useful. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and you can slow things down by reducing the multiplier. So again, multiplier is basically the maximum speed of your axes. So I'm going to increase the multiplier all the way to maximum, and I'm going to switch to targeting pod, and now I'm going to use my controller, and you can see the maximum speed is a lot more aggressive because I increased the multiplier. So the multiplier is basically what determines the maximum speed on how the thing is gonna move. So you can see this is fucking... for me, if I was using controller, this would be almost impossible to use. So again, you gotta fine-tune your inputs. Remember, one of the biggest and most important steps to actually being good in sim, and especially sim, is to make sure your control setup is as well made as possible. So adjust non-linearity, dead zones, multipliers. And if you use relative control, then of course you can adjust the sensitivity to determine how quickly it reaches 100% or whatnot. But that's something different. You just try to mess with these settings and see what they do, and just try to find the best setting for you. Like in my case, I've been using mouse and keyboard for ever since I started playing War Thunder Sim, basically. It's been like 4 years. And over those 4 years, or almost 5 years, like basically my entire control setup is 100% engraved in muscle memory. So every single thing I do purely by reflex. I don't have to think about anything. So everything I do incredibly fucking quick, because it's basically just pure reflex. Everything is completely engraved in muscle memory, and I'm so incredibly used to my control setup that it's almost perfect for me. And that is probably one of the biggest factors that actually allows me to be fucking autistic at this game. So to give you an example, if you're dogfighting and you have to reach across your keyboard to change your flap settings, or maybe pull the air brake, or I don't know, maybe flare or something, then you're gonna be at a disadvantage, a massive disadvantage. So if you wanna, for example, have a really comprehensive and actually useful control setup, you need to make sure all the important stuff is hopefully within finger reach. All of the important stuff should be like as accessible to you as possible. And also just get used to the control setup, and eventually it's just gonna get engraved into your muscle memory, and everything is gonna come out of reflex. So for example, if I want to deploy the flaps, pull the air brake, turn on the engine, and move the pilot head left and right, like everything I do basically just out of reflex. I don't even have to think, I don't even have to like remember which keybind it was, because everything is just completely memorized, basically just muscle memory. I mean, from someone formed as a ground attacker pilot, later turned into fighter pilot IRL, I enjoy ground strikes a lot more. It's relaxing. Yeah, it's fun. Doing PvE is fun. The problem comes when you want to do PvE and you get pissy because somebody shut you down. Then that's a problem. That's what Sombers do. I was Tarkovin, then came to War Thunder to distress a little bit since in the woods up in flying cap based. Doing combat air patrol. I wouldn't even consider it combat air patrol, I just consider it playing the game. But, you know. Do you use non-linearity for the pitch axis? I do, because I have a keyboard with analog switches. So let me show you the keyboard, or should I say keypad, that I use. This thing. This keypad here. This is what I use to play War Thunder. And this thing has analog switches. So the harder I press the key, the stronger the input is going to be. So I can map these keys and make them behave like the axis of an Xbox controller, like the joystick. So this one you can see is the left joystick to the left. This one is the left joystick to the right. It's basically all analog inputs. So this basically means that when I'm flying the plane... Oh, what the fuck? It stopped working. What the fuck just happened? Game is being retarded. Give me a second. Oh, there you go. So analog switches allow me to press the input very softly, and you can see I'm pulling very softly, like that. And if I press the finger all the way, then the input reaches 100%. This is what analog keys actually allows me to do. And this is why this little keypad that I have is so fucking coded for this game, because analog switches are very handy. So yeah, I use non-linearity. 4? Hold on, did I use 4? Really? Well, apparently I used 4, yeah. And now I'm already incredibly used to using 4, so I guess this is the setting that works for me. Now, I use no linearity of 4 because, again, the travel of these little keys is very small. But if you have a HOTAS or something with a lot more travel, more, you know, room to move the thing, then you probably don't need that much. So again, just fine-tune everything to whatever fits you best, of course. Oh, where's the bomb that I just fired? Oh, that's the shadow. Boom. Based on the thumbnail, I thought you were playing DCS. Nah. This is the better video game called War Thunder. Did you know in this missile you cannot outroll AIM-120s? Because the API for missile tracking is actually well made. I think you can set it such that zoom will be less sensitive and zoomed out will be normal. Oh, true. Yeah. That's fair, yeah. I forgot about that. I love the base 27's flight model. I'm thinking of grinding China for the J11A. Same flight model with 77s, right? Yeah, and it also has moss. Keep in mind. Ever try playing with HOTAS instead of mouse and keyboard? No, because I cannot afford the HOTAS right now. What DPI do I use? Good question. I don't even know. Apparently 1250. And this is apparently what I use for every single video game that I play. So, yep, there you go, 1250, very low. Base 27 flight model is really fucking good. However, you still have kind of the disadvantage of only having Fox once, so your gameplay has to be a lot different. Have to be a lot more careful and have to be a little bit more, I guess, knowledgeable on how to respect the AIM-120 carriers and how to use 27ERs to the best of their ability. But if you don't want to deal with any of that, you can just grind the J11A. It's basically the exact same flight model as the base flanker, but this one has R77s, and it also has MOS. So you still have the SPO-15 RWR, which is kind of garbage, but the MOS actually helps you notch very accurately overall. And the fact that you have Fox 3s actually allows you to compete against other Fox 3 carriers. So this thing is genuinely really fucking good. It's genuinely fucking cracked. A little bit difficult to use, of course, because you still have very limited radar. And the RWR is annoying because you get pings and those pings disappear like almost immediately. But definitely better than the base flanker, of course. because you have fox trees and you have moss, and moss is generally really helpful. This thing is genuinely fucking dope. Oh, did it hit the ground? I wonder if it hit the ground. Yeah, it did. Yeah, flanker fly model, really fucking cracked. It's gotta be one of the best fly models in the whole game, like BR, like at the respective BR. The thing is also the fact that the fuel economy on the flanker is so good that whenever you get low on fuel, your fly model of course is gonna be better. But because the fuel economy is so good, that means you can stay at very low fuel for a very long time. Like this thing, below 15 minutes of fuel can basically just dogfight anything and have a really, really good chance of clapping. And you also have R73, which is funny. Alright, I'm gonna call the stream here. And I'll go get something to eat and go work out and try to be productive, I suppose. So, yes, thank you guys for hanging out, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Huh. Garbage. Just fucking give you a crate and they actually make you pay to open it. Stupid retarded game.